Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the Finance 360 Degree series in which we cover all the relevant finance current affairs and the RBI notifications from the exam point of view, let it be the NABARD Grade A, the SEBI Grade A or RBI Grade B. So in today's session, we are going to cover two very important news articles, and they are important because I'm also going to provide you some static information, some static knowledge, so they become very important. Okay, so the first news article is regarding the CPI inflation, and today we are also going to discuss briefly about the CPI versus the WPI, which usually many students are confused in. So do not worry, today we are going to completely discuss and have the clarity about the CPI versus WPI. As well as today we are also going to discuss about the Udgam, which is a portal that has been recently released by the Reserve Bank of India, and there is some update that has come in Udgam, so we are also going to discuss that. Okay, so these are very important from the exam point of view, and let's have the holistic information and the holistic knowledge about these two very important news articles. But before that, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel for the PDF of this session. Okay, so the PDF of this session you will get in the Telegram channel. Now coming to the retail inflation. So first of all, see, the financial year started from April 2023. Okay, so the financial year 2024, that is the financial year 2023 to 2024, that is also written as the FY24 or 2024. Okay, so this financial year, it started from April 2023 and it is going to end on March 2024. Okay, it is going to end on March 2024. So when this financial year started, it started as a very good year in which we had the normal inflation. First of all, see the retail inflation or the CPI inflation, or we can say the normally when we say inflation, so we are actually talking about the retail inflation or the CPI inflation. So when we say now that inflation is increasing, the prices are rising, the general price level is rising in the country, and there is the problem that the consumers are facing. So this inflation is nothing else, it is the retail inflation, it is the consumer price index inflation. That means it is affecting the consumers, it is affecting the products that is related to the consumers, and the prices or the general price level is rising for the consumers. Okay, so CPI inflation or the retail inflation, this is the inflation that is affecting the consumers, and the RBI has to maintain the retail inflation or the CPI inflation around 4% with the plus minus 2% as the range. Okay, so that means the target for the Reserve Bank of India is to maintain the retail inflation around 4%. 2% is the lower tolerance limit, that the inflation should not go below 2% and the inflation should not go above 6%. So this is the upper tolerance level, that the inflation should not go above 6%. So when the financial year, that is the April 2023 started, in the April 2023, the inflation, the retail inflation or the inflation was 4.70%. That is, the inflation was around 4%. So that is a good inflation that was in our country. That was a fine inflation that we can handle easily. Okay, now in May 2023, the inflation was around 4%. It was 4.31%. So this is also the inflation that the country can sustain with. Now in the June 2023, the inflation was 4.81%. So this is also fine inflation. Now in July 2023, what happened, that you can understand that the inflation, the target is 4% plus minus 2%. That is, inflation should not go below 2% and should not go above 6%. This the RBI has to maintain. Okay, this is the target for the Reserve Bank of India. But in July 2023, the inflation went to 7.44%. That is way higher than the upper tolerance level of our country, the upper tolerance limit of our country. And this hike in the CPI inflation, in the inflation that is affecting the consumers, the retail inflation, so this hike was because of the spike in the vegetable prices, because of the very fast increase in the prices of the vegetables. Okay, so this led to the problem and this led to the very high inflation. The CPI inflation was 7.44% in the July 2023. That was way higher than the upper tolerance level. Now in August 2023, the CPI inflation was 6.83%. Combined means that for rural areas plus the urban areas, for combined, the CPI inflation was around 6.83%. That was again higher than the 6% mark. Okay, that was higher than the upper tolerance limit. But in September 2023, so this is the recent data that has been released in the October 2023. So for the September 2023, the CPI inflation for the combined was 5.02%, which is below the upper tolerance level. So it is said that in the September 2023, we have come below the upper tolerance level. So this is the news article that you needed to know. Now we need to have the understanding about the CPI inflation. Okay, first of all, the CPI, that is the consumer price index. The consumer price index. So this is an index that depends on many of the components, okay, that we are going to discuss. And remember that the index, they conventionally have a base year against which the other years are compared with. Okay, and the index has a base value. This base year has a base value that is usually taken as 100, and against this value the other years and other months are compared with. So I hope you understand that the index, they have a base value. The base value here is 100, and against this value the other consumer price index are compared with for other years. Okay, for other years. And who releases this consumer price index for the rural areas, for the urban areas, for combined? So it is the National Statistical Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation that releases the all India CPI or the combined CPI, that also releases the CPI for the rural areas, for the urban areas, and for the combined. The base year, as I've told you, that the index, they usually have a base year. So here we are taking the base year as 2012, and the base value is taken as 100, against which all the other years are compared with. Okay, so I hope now the basic idea, you have got the basic idea that what is the consumer price index. It is the index that consists of the components. Okay, that consists of the components, the products, we can say, the goods and services that are being purchased by the consumer. Okay, so that's why it is a consumer price index, and we want to see the price of these products, we want to see the price of these goods and services. So the components are the food and beverages that are consumed by the consumer, that are bought by the consumers, the pan, tobacco, intoxicants, the clothing, footwear, housing, fuel and light, and the services. We also take services, right? The healthcare services, the teaching services, the educational services. So we take services also, and that's why the CPI index includes the services also. So I hope you are a little more clearer about the CPI now. CPI is the consumer price index, where we see that, okay, the what is the consumer basket, what are the goods and services that the consumer are consuming, and what is the change that is happening in the prices. Now there are the weights in the index that consist of many of the components. There are different weights that are given to the different of the product categories or different components, because we consume food and beverages more as compared to the pan, tobacco or intoxicants. We consume, like all the people in the country, they consume the food and beverages, right? And that's why this is given as higher weightage. 45.86% of the weightage in the index is given in the CPI, that is the consumer price index. The highest weightage is given to the food and beverages, because the consumers, they consume the food and beverages more. Then the second highest weightage is given to the services. 28.32% weightage is given to the services. So CPI index, now I hope you have got the basic understanding of the CPI index. CPI, that is the consumer price index. Now how the CPI is different from WPI? What is WPI? It is the wholesale price index. So first of all, okay, this is an index that must have some components on which this index depends on, and this is wholesale price index. That means we want to see the products, the goods or the products that are being sold in the wholesale market, and we want to see the price of these goods, of these products. Now in the wholesale market, you tell me that in the wholesale market, can the services be sold? Can I sell my teaching services at wholesale market? No, that won't be correct, right? And that's why in the wholesale index, we do not take services, we only take the goods. And that's a very big difference between the WPI and CPI. First of all, WPI, it is the wholesale, it is for the wholesale market. CPI, it is for the retail market, it is for the consumers. So WPI is for the wholesale market, the CPI is for the consumers. Okay, Now, the wholesale does not include the services, while the CPI, it includes the services. It includes the services. Okay, so that's the basic difference that also you need to know and understand about. So I hope now you will clearly know that what is the WPI, what is the CPI, and you will know the basic difference between the two. So WPI, see this, it measures the changes in the prices of the goods that are sold. So I have told you that we are seeing the wholesale goods and we are seeing the price, okay, and the change in the price that is happening. Okay, so it measures the changes in the prices of the goods that are sold and traded in bulk by the wholesale businesses to other businesses. This is the wholesale price index. Here you can see that this is the wholesale market. So wholesale price index, the wholesale market. Okay, it is published by Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, so the CPI, that is the index, it is it is published by the NSO, National Statistical Office, that is under the MOSPI, that is the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Okay, and the CPI rural, CPI urban, and the CPI combined, they are released by the NSO. As well as there is also the CPI for the agricultural laborers, for the industrial workers, and for the rural laborers. Now this CPI is not released by NSO. Any one of you know that who releases this CPI? So this is the CPI that is released by the Labor Bureau. So you have to remember, a question can directly come that CPI for the agricultural laborers is released by Labor Bureau. Okay. So now the WPI, it is published by the Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Now the major criticism for this index is that the general public does not buy products at the wholesale price, and that's why we needed the consumer price index. Okay, because this is the index that tells the price situation for the consumers, while the wholesale cannot tell the price situation for the general public, for the consumers. Now the base year, I have told you that the index, they conventionally have a base year. So here the WPI, it has a base year of 2011 2012, and the index, the base year index value, that is the base value, we can say, is considered as 100. Okay, so the base year of all India WPI has been revised from 2004 5 to 2011-12 in 2017. So in 2017, it was said that the base year will not be 2004-5, the base year will be 2011-12. Okay, so this is the, I have told you that index, they have the components on which this index depends on. So in the wholesale price index, that is the wholesale, you can understand that in the wholesale markets, what are the components that are involved? So the primary articles, the fuel and power, and the manufactured products, these are sold and traded in bulk. So the manufactured products, first of all, they are given the highest weightage, that is 64.23% of the weightage is given to the manufactured products. Then the second highest weightage is given to the primary articles. Okay, so now I hope you are clear about the WPI, CPI, you are clear about what is the situation in the country, what is the target for the Reserve Bank of India for the retail inflation, for the CPI inflation, it is 4%, and the range is plus minus 2%. I hope now many of the things have become clearer for you. As we go further in this series of the Finance 360 degree, again and again you will see some terminologies, and we will be clearing those terminologies out. Okay, so do not worry. I hope for now you are very much clearer about the CPI and the WPI. And if you have any query, you can do tell me in the comment section below. Okay, now coming to the next news article, that is regarding the Udgam. So RBI recently on August 17th 2023 released the Udgam, that is a portal, that is the unclaimed deposits gateway to access information. So what was happening, that many of the people, okay, they forget about their bank accounts, or there is some relative or some family member, like let's say there is some family member who has died, and the other person do not know about the accounts that the family member had. So now those accounts are going unclaimed. That means no one is claiming those accounts, and the accounts are not claimed for 10 years. Then that money goes to the Depositors Education and Awareness Fund. Now the RBI do not want these funds to go unclaimed, because for 10 years no one is using that money. That means the circulation in the economy is lesser, we can say, or this should not happen. The people should get the money that belongs to them. So RBI said, okay, that this is happening too much, and the for many of the accounts, they are going unclaimed. So RBI launched the Udgam, that is the unclaimed deposits gateway to access information. Okay, let me show you an example. Okay, this is the Udgam platform. Through one click, you can select and you can search through all the banks. At the start, there were only 7 banks that were in the Udgam. But you can understand that how easy it became. Now you do not have to go to each and every bank account, or you do not have to go to each and every bank to search for the unclaimed deposit, that do I have any unclaimed deposits, or do I have any unclaimed accounts in any of the bank. So the governor of the Reserve Bank of India launched a centralized web portal, Udgam, that is the unclaimed deposits gateway to access information, which we have discussed in depth in the previous sessions. So you can see this session also. This was the brief understanding that you needed to know. You need to know the full form of the Udgam and why it has been launched, so that the unclaimed deposits, the people can claim their unclaimed deposit through a centralized portal. So this portal has been developed by the RBI for use by members of the public, so that the public can use it to facilitate and make it easier for them to search their unclaimed deposits across multiple banks at one place. So they do not have to go to different banks and search for their unclaimed deposits. Through one portal, you can search all the banks. In the starting, there were only 7 banks that were available in the Udgam. So in August, when it was launched, there were 7 banks that were available in the Udgam, and it was said by the Reserve Bank of India that the search facility for remaining banks, for more banks, will be available in a phased manner by October 15, 2023, and the RBI has stood on its promise. And as you can see that in total 30 banks, so the PDF will be provided to you, but I hope you can see the names. You do not need to remember the names, just you have to see that okay, Udgam portal has the search facility for unclaimed deposits of 30 banks from September 28, 2023. So now there are in total 30 banks that have come in the Udgam portal. And now if you go to the Udgam portal, there will be 30 banks that you can at once select, and on those 30 banks you can put the name of the person. Okay, you can put the PAN or some minimum information you can put, and you can search through those 30 banks at once. Just through two or three clicks, you can search through 30 banks that the person has the unclaimed deposits. My mother, my father, or myself has the unclaimed deposits or not. Okay, so the search facility for 30 banks has been made available on the portal. So these 7 banks, they were available when the Udgam released, and now later on more banks have been brought on the Udgam portal, and now in total there are 30 banks. Okay, so the search facility for 30 banks have been made available on the portal on September 28, 2023, which covers around 90% of such unclaimed deposits in the value terms that are in the Depositors Education and Awareness Fund. Now I hope you have become clear about this Udgam portal, the brief understanding. If you want to know more about Udgam portal, you can go and see the complete session on the Udgam portal. But this is the brief understanding that you needed to know, that I have provided to you. If there is any confusion, surely you can comment down below and you can ask me anything that is related to the topic that you have not understood. Okay, so now try to answer this question. So this is a homework question for you all, and yes, happy Dashera to everyone. So today is Dashera, and I hope you all are enjoying the festival, and God bless everyone. Okay, so I hope you people are praying and enjoying your holiday. So this is the homework question. The first question, I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. And see, related to the news that is going on, you have to be aware about the basic background. Okay, so if the CPI is in news, if the WPI is in news, you have to be aware about what is going on in the country, as well as basic understanding regarding this CPI and WPI you needed to know. Now this is the second question. Again, I hope you will be easily able to answer this question now. So this was all. Now EduTap has brought for you the comprehensive guidebook for RBI, NABARD and SEBI. So through a single guidebook, you can get all the important information regarding the examination. If you want to know about the syllabus, if you want to know about the sources from where to prepare, even if you want to get the previous year questions, everything is provided through this single guidebooks, and you can download them easily. And they are absolutely free of cost, to save your time, to save your efforts, and you can download them. The link is given in the description box below. And happy Dashera to everyone. I hope you are enjoying, and thank you very much. Do not forget to study also. So thank you very much. And if you have any query, you can call us here or you can mail us through this number. Happy Dashera once again, and have a good day, everyone.